I bought my dream spec L322 Range Rover and it cost me just £2,000. However, not even 10 minutes into my drive home, I heard a strange noise.
You hear that? What could that be, guys? Is that the weather stripping?
Many of you commented saying to check the windscreen scuttle, some said it's the tyres, so today I'm going to investigate. So looking around here, there's no obvious telltale signs of what could be causing the noise. This car is on general grabber tyres, which according to some people are known for creating noises at higher speeds, but I don't think it's that. If you look a bit closer, you can see that this rubber windscreen trim is a little bit dislodged, and also this A-pillar has a little bit of movement in it. But what about the windscreen scuttle itself? I bought this silicone actually to potentially run a bead underneath where the windscreen scuttle meets the glass itself, but I'm not convinced it's that, because if I prod around, there's nothing really causing any play. But there is one piece of information that I did withhold from the last video, I forgot to mention, so that I test drove this car, I took it up to 70 miles an hour, there was no noise, so I'm not concerned there was anything I'd missed there. But I did excitedly take this car through a car wash on the way home, and after that is when the noise was starting to appear. So I do wonder whether perhaps it's dislodged some of this rub up here, and that is what's caused the noise. So I'm going to do my best at trying to secure this back down into place, and then we'll take the car back on the dual carriageway and see if it's gotten rid of the noise. But I'm not convinced it's this scuttle. Okay, let's see how that windscreen scuttle sound is at 70 miles an hour. It started to appear around 60 and was quite bad around 70. So let's see if tucking those rubber seals back into place where they should be has fixed it. So I do wonder if just that car wash has dislodged those. That would make a lot of sense. In fairness, it's rare that I ever go 70 miles an hour in this car, because I am using it a lot around town, which is probably why you're seeing 14.4 miles per gallon average on my display there. But also, even when I do take it on the dual carriageway and the speed limit is 70, it's just one of those cars that you want to sit at 60, 65 at. It just makes you want to drive slower. It's one of the reasons I love these L322s. All right, 70 miles an hour, here we go. And listen to that. 65, nothing. Just tweak it up to 70 a little bit. No noise. No noise. Yes, I knew it was probably something really simple. That's great. I'm glad it's not anything more complex than just that rubber trim had been dislodged by the car wash. Excellent. Well, that's job number one. Signed, sealed, delivered. Happy days. When I bought this L322 Range Rover, I was especially pleased because it has the passenger side cup holder, which my previous one didn't, leaving only this remarkable contraption for the passenger and for the driver. However, of course, it wasn't as simple as that, was it? The first thing I did when I bought this car was take it to a drive-through with a mate. I let him drive just so I could experience this wonder in the passenger side cup holder, and imagine my surprise when it didn't go quite as expected. Now, it does open as you would expect, and there's no indication that there's anything wrong. So let me reenact for you what happened. So if you can imagine, this is my nice ice cold Fanta that I've so excitedly just received from the drive-through. I go to put it in, extend the cup holder a little bit so it fits, and it just went straight through the bottom and went absolutely everywhere, because for some reason this cup holder is missing, well, the bottom part that secures the base of your cup or whatever you're putting in. And so I'm going to replace this. Normally it's just the whole mechanism that stops working, going in and out like this, but for some reason mine is missing the base. So I have bought a replacement off eBay, which, as we can see, has the all-important base, which is missing from mine. I did wonder if I could just replace the base, but it doesn't seem to be so. In fact, I think I'd have to remove this cup holder anyway, so you might as well replace the whole unit. To replace or even install this cup holder, if your particular car doesn't have one, is actually a really easy job, and also this part only cost me £40 off eBay. You first just need to remove this piece of trim, which is secured in by some clips. If you get a bit of leverage on it, you can pull it off gently and it comes away. So once you've got this cover off, normally the next thing you would need to do is, if you see this hole here, there would be a bolt going through it. However, it's already either, well, it's missing, so I don't know why that is, whether it's been changed before. But essentially, now that we don't need to remove that, I should, he says, just be able to, whoa! It went flying. what I was about to say is I should just be able to push on the cup holder and push it through, which I did with these. See, I don't know what's happened with this one. I don't know where the base went, which normally goes in here. If we look at the new cup holder, which is just under my jacket, we push it out, you can see the base here. This part, this panel at the bottom, is where the cups will sit. And yeah, this one is just completely missing it. So it's not the end of the world that bolt at the back is missing. In fact, it just makes my job a little bit easier in terms of removing the old one and putting the new one in, because I don't need to worry about securing it now either. So basically it's just completely the reverse. Pop this back in, it should be as easy as so. There's a couple of clips, so make sure they connect. If I give it a good reassuring shove, there we go. But anyway, what we can now demonstrate is with the new cup holder, I can get my bottle and just pop it in. To use these clips here to extend it a little bit, and then this should just go in and sit. Yes, absolutely fantastic. There we go. That was the all important part that was missing. And then all we have to do now is put back on this cover, which is again just start over here, clip it back in. I might just peel this back to make my life a little bit easier.
So yes, a very simple job. A little bit of a shame that that bolt is missing, but unless my passenger starts a fight with my cup holder, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Definitely a job worth doing. But if you remember, there was a particularly problematic issue that this car has, especially with all the weather we've been having lately, which actually I managed to sort out.
Right, so while it's tipping it down out there, I thought I would just show you something else that actually I'd almost forgotten about, that I've already fixed off camera. It was a very quick fix. So the sunroof, I don't know if you remember, it wasn't closing. So if I was to have the sunroof open and then push this back forwards for it to close, it would never fully close. It would basically go to the closing point and then just retract itself again. Now, luckily I was able to fix this very easily with my special code reader device thing. I'll just show you how I did it. So all I did was connected to my car on this device I have here, which I got from Think Car, and I connected to body control, windows and sunroof, and then it goes into this system where basically I could I cleared all the fault memories, and then I went on force output, and I can't remember, or was it vehicle maintenance that I did exactly? Initialize sunroof, that's it. I clicked initialize sunroof. It went back and forth a couple of times, and I don't know if it recalibrated it or whatever, but basically, if I show you, it will now just close. So if I go like this, it will work as intended. Just like that. So I was very impressed with that. I was just having a little fiddle in here to see first if it would even read the Land Rover, but it does, and there's a lot of stuff you can do there. Actually, you can recalibrate your air suspension. If I click air suspension here, you can go in and go vehicle maintenance. You can put it in transportation mode, height recalibration, ECU renew, a bunch of stuff that I don't really want to fiddle with, but it's quite impressive what you can do in here, and I'll leave a link to this device in the description with a 10% off code actually if you want to get one as well. So yeah, very good. So the sunroof is sorted. I was a little bit worried that could be quite an expensive fix actually, but it was literally just a quick reset. Now, there's one other thing that's been bothering me, which we saw in the first video, which is the lower tailgate struts at the back are all perished and nasty, so I wanted to sort that as well. So there's a couple of things back here. Yes, there's the lower struts that I mentioned. These are perished, and I've got some replacements in this bag here. I'm not quite sure how you replace these. There's a sort of metal bead on the end there. I don't know if you just pull this off. Looks like some sort of bolt. I'll have a little look, but the main thing actually, which I forgot about, is the day I bought this, I went and showed my friend Ben Rain. Actually, literally the hour I bought this, I went straight to his house and showed him it. And actually, he's bought an L322 now based on that experience and one he'd had the same week. He just fell in love with the thing. Anyway, I was showing him the tailgate and how great it is. And as soon as I opened this top one, this whole trim piece fell off. Now this belongs, I believe, this way round, up there like that. It fell off, and I noticed that a bunch of these clips have either been splayed or perished, or they're just not there. So again, also did some shopping on the internet, and bought a replacement set of these clips. So I'll put these back in, and hopefully then we can pop this piece of trim back up, because that's just been rolling around in the boot since I bought the car, which is really annoying and doesn't look exactly fantastic when you open it up.
So despite the fact potentially half of the original white clips were still intact, I decided it would be best to just replace all of them for these new yellow clips. Yes, this is another very small and easy job that really anyone can do, but actually I just think even doing small things like this, when they all add up, it gets really, really satisfying. And making any kind of improvement to your car from your own driveway is just so liberating. There are a number of other problems which I'm going to be addressing in part 2, such as the parking sensors, which are not working, the steering wheel column doesn't come in and out, all of which I'll be fixing in part 2. So if you're not subscribed to the channel already, make sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you like this style of content. Although removing and replacing the clips was very straightforward, actually positioning this unit back up into place wasn't quite the same.
Yes. So I managed to finally get it in then after a lot of manoeuvring. The main problem I had is that some of the wiring for like the lights in the back here was getting in the way of where I was trying to push, so luckily I noticed, moved it all out of the way, and yeah, this is in now, no rattling, that's fantastic. So I've got these then, the replacements for here. I think it looks like the right part. The thing I'm just wondering is how I actually get the old bit out, because it looks like it's screwed into here, and I wonder if there's a washer or a nut or something on the other side of here which is securing it. I mean, that would make sense. The other side, the rubber is quite perished, so I can actually have a bit more of a look, but yeah, I'm not quite sure how to remove these. And if it's a case of going in here and taking the rear light out, I may well just leave it, because it's not really causing any problems. It's just, it would be nice because these struts have been done for the upper tailgate, and as have the ones in the bonnet, so it would be a nice to have but not an essential.
With all that being said then, I thought the most helpful thing to do would be to jump in the car and go for a drive.
Well, so if you ask me, that's an afternoon well spent. We have remedied the broken cup holder. I have managed to sort the sunroof, which could have potentially been quite an annoying problem. And also now my boot is free from that plastic piece of trim that was unsecured, which is much better. I decided not to tackle those rear lower tailgate struts today because it seemed like quite a big job for not much reward. If any of you know and can confirm in the comments whether it is true that I need to remove the rear lights, then let me know, because it seems like that's probably the case. Now I'm waiting on some more parts for this car because there are some other issues. Like I mentioned, the parking sensors are not working. It looks like the ones at the back are pretty corroded, and so I've ordered some replacements. This steering column does not go in and out, which means I sort of have to drive a bit like an orangutan, which I find quite frustrating. And there's quite a few other things as well, so do stay tuned for part 2. That will be going out just as soon as the parts arrive for this Range Rover. But not only that, because very soon I'm taking this car into a specialist to get the prognosis. I suspect there's a few mechanical issues. I've noticed a weeping of oil in the engine bay, and also that gearbox can be quite lumpy and doesn't always want to go into gear first thing in the morning. There is that suspension knocking as well, and so I need them to have a proper look at the mechanical side of this car. We could potentially find out why this thing was so cheap. Anyway, thank you all so much for your support. Thank you for watching these videos. I'm absolutely loving this L322 Range Rover. It's one of the only cars in the world that, like, when it's got issues, you just don't care, because it is so wonderful to drive. It is truly hard to describe, and if there was a way I could get you all along to experience this car and have a drive in it, I genuinely would let you, because I think that would be the only real way of getting the message across.
No matter how big or small, it truly is rewarding fixing things on your car. Next time I will be stepping it up a level though by trying to fix the parking sensors and that steering column. I believe these are two jobs that involve quite a lot more skill. But the thing I'm most anxious about is taking it to the Land Rover specialist to see what they find mechanically wrong with the car. I also need you to comment below on whether you think I should change the wheels for original set, and whether I should put the door handles back to Giverny Green, amongst a few other cosmetic bits and bobs, although I have to admit, having used the car now for a little while, I am starting to like the way it looks as it is. Hit that subscribe button now and the thumbs up button if you don't want to miss out on the future content with this L322. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you very soon.